When I was a young child, I dreamed of working for LEGO. The idea of building with unlimited LEGO elements sounded perfect. But over the years, I've had less time to spend on LEGO, and my standards for design and detail have only risen. And I suspect most of you viewers are similar. So how do we enjoy LEGO building like we used to? How do we get around this writer's block of design? I think I have some answers, and while they're very counterintuitive, they helped me a ton, and I highly recommend you try them out. I can't tell you how many times I've started building a mock only to give up halfway through, and every time the thought process was the same. I would get inspired by an idea, I'd build 60% of it, and then I'd lose the idea. I'd no longer have faith that this design was the perfect design, and so I'd do nothing on the build for a couple of days. Then inspiration would hit again, I'd tear that all down and start the process over. But recently, I've spent more time appreciating the process of building rather than focusing on the end product, and I have some new perspectives on how to enjoy mock building once again. Number 1, limit your pieces. This sounds really counterintuitive, but when you get out all the pieces at once, it can seem overwhelming. You lose sight of the vision you had for the mock and instead focus on the near infinite possibilities before you. When you limit yourself to just a couple thousand or even a couple hundred pieces, suddenly the number of possible choices shrink, and every choice matters. It refocuses your attention on the design you're trying to represent. I discovered this when designing alternate builds for Rivendell as well as the LEGO Goat Boat, and it's totally changed my perspective on LEGO building. The limitations force you to refocus from what you could do to what you can do. The challenge focuses your attention on every detail, and you try to utilize every last part to make the model marginally better. Even if you don't end up keeping these limited mocks together for long term, I highly recommend you try it just to gain the practice. It will totally change how you view LEGO building. Second, define your design goals. A good design goal keeps you on track and prevents you from being overambitious and adding ideas to your mock halfway through. Determine what you want the mock to be. It can be very straightforward, such as, I want to build a small four-sided castle on a grid system using a 6x6 plate as the basis for one grid. Or it could be more abstract, such as, I want to build Weathertop as it would have been before it crumbled. Whatever the design you're going for, clarify what you want before you start, and it will keep you on track. Third, define your functional goals. These are the more abstract philosophical things you want the mock to do for you. Maybe you want a good background to line up your minifigures on. Maybe you want a small mock on a 16x16 base plate to put on your desk at work. If you're in college, one good idea would be build a mock that fits inside your shelving. Maybe you want a massive space in the mock, or perhaps a smaller, more symbolic model would make you happy. Whatever it is, figure it out before you even think in terms of pieces. If it doesn't satisfy you in the end, all that time and effort will have been a waste. And the best way to be satisfied is to know what you want before you start. Set your expectations first, then put them into reality. I want to leave you with a deeper consideration. Why is it so important to place constraints and hard goals like this? Because a good mock is no different from a good story. When you or other LEGO fans see a mock, you don't just see the finished product. You see all the hours of design and setup and prototyping that went into it. We marvel at these massive displays because we wonder how they were made, as much as we appreciate the spectacle of the finished design. Every story is composed of promises and payoffs, setup and fulfillment. If the promise is ill-defined, the payoff is much less impactful. If I show you this Viking ship, well, it's alright, but it's by no means the best Viking ship I could make. But if I tell you that it's made using only the pieces from one set, then the promise becomes clear, and so the payoff of the finished model becomes much more powerful. A LEGO castle is a LEGO castle, but a LEGO replica of Minas Tirith is a work of art, because the promise wasn't just build a big castle, it was recreate a very specific and detailed castle. The harder the promise, the more powerful the payoff, the more satisfying the finished mock will be to you, and the more impressive it will be to others.